I was so disappointed with this movie. Disappointed to learn the fact that it wasn't an origin story of Twister from Rocket Power. Bring Rocket Power back. Somebody do it. Just bring Rocket Power back. That show was awesome back in the day. If you haven't seen Rocket Power, where have you been? What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the standalone sequel, spiritual successor, prequel, remake. I guess you could classify it as, people will probably classify it as a remake to Twister. That is Twisters. This one stars Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos, Glenn Powell, David Corenswet, our new Superman. As storm season intensifies, the past of former storm chaser Kate Carter and reckless social media superstar Tyler Owens collide when terrifying phenomena never seen before are unleashed. The pair and their competing teams find themselves squarely in the path of multiple storm systems converging over central Oklahoma in the fight of their lives. I'm glad I watched Twister before I had seen this movie, just to get a bit of a refresher, because a lot of Twisters bleeds the DNA of Twister. It's not the same movie. There are things that are references to the original Twister, but it does feel like it has the same narrative structure, the same pace to it. And that's why I feel like the DNA bleeds through this movie when you compare the two. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think that's fairly detrimental to this movie at all, because I think a lot of people are going to go into this movie just wanting to see tornadoes and people chasing tornadoes. And you get that a lot. This is a 2-hour movie, and almost every 5 to 10 minutes there's a freaking tornado. You really got to live in a shitty ass part of the country to just have 4 tornadoes in one day, and then an entire storm system of tornadoes in the span of like a week. Like, that's gotta suck, man. That's gotta suck. This movie is nothing more than what I expected it to be, and it's everything I wanted it to be. People chasing tornadoes, tornadoes chasing them, tornadoes destroying everything in its path, and maybe you have a couple rival teams and some actors that are really, really likable. I like Daisy Edgar Jones a lot. She is really likable in this movie. I think she's the most fleshed out character, and she portrays a lot of the trauma that she's experienced. There's a past event that happened with her, and she has some PTSD. She conveys that a lot. She does a really good job of conveying that. I like Anthony Ramos a lot too, in everything I've seen him in. I don't think I've hated anything I've seen him in, but we have the everyman in Glenn Powell. Look, if Tom Hanks is America's dad, Glenn Powell is America's son. The dude may not be the best actor in the world. He might not even be that great of an actor, but he just brightens up any movie he's in with his likability and his charm. I already know for a fact that a million girls are probably going to this movie just to see Glenn Powell wear a cowboy hat. I already know it. The movie really hinges on the three of them and their relationships and how they develop, because Glenn Powell kind of starts off as this hotshot, but then you realize that he's actually not so much of a hotshot, and they just chase tornadoes. And the tornado sequences are really fun. They're intense. There's one at the end. Feels like everything in its path is going to be devastated. Like, you can feel the destruction of these tornadoes when they're in the eye of the storm and when you're not in the eye of the storm. The movie shows that there's like impending storm systems in the sky, and you're just like, oh shit, another tornado. This is gonna be hell on earth for these people. This movie delivers on that front. If you're looking for a movie that is very deep in saying something about climate change or anything like that, or how storm systems work and all that, I mean, there's some sciencey stuff behind it. I thought those aspects of the movie were easily the weakest part, and they're easily the weakest part of the original Twister as well. Anytime it had that jargon to it, I was just like, can we get back to chasing tornadoes, please? I can see people being like, okay, like, you're losing me with all the sciencey stuff. Like, it's interesting science stuff, but I'm lost. What exactly are we trying to do? I don't know if that really makes sense. It's over my head. I could see that happening for a lot of people. So if you're going into this movie expecting really thought out plot, some commentary on climate change, and supporting characters that are fleshed out, I think you're going to be massively disappointed. You're just supposed to watch people chase tornadoes, tornadoes chase them, tornadoes destroy stuff, and that's it. That's what this movie does every 5 minutes. I don't need something like The Meg, where it's supposed to be a shark movie, where sharks are supposed to be eating people every 5 minutes, and turns out the sharks are only in like the last like 20 minutes of the movie. No. None of that shit. I wanted tornadoes. I got a bunch of tornadoes. And the tornadoes look good. The tornado sequences are fun. That's all I asked for with this movie. Predictability, plot, and character development are non existent. But in a movie like this, they're kind of out the window. I just want pure escapism. This is a pure escapist blockbuster. And I think a lot of people in a time like now, especially where there's so much political divide, are going to be happy to know that there's not like a commentary on climate change. And that was by design by the director Lee Isaac Chung. Specifically said, no, this is a movie about people chasing tornadoes. We're not saying anything about climate change. There's references and callbacks to the original Twister. The DNA of that movie bleeds through this movie without being a direct copy, a direct sequel. It just takes place in the same universe, a new generation of tornado chasers. And I was fine with. It's a perfectly enjoyable movie. I had a lot of fun with Twisters with 3/4 of a bucket of popcorn. So if you guys have seen Twisters, let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.